and good to see you back on this channel. My name is Dr. M, and on this channel I share PhD tips that hopefully can help you plan and organize your own journey better. Now in this video I'll be sharing with you how my own journey started right up to when the degree was conferred on me. Find out also why my thesis remained on the shelves for 12 good months without being examined. Stay tuned. So, like I said earlier, today I'm going to do a story time of my own doctoral journey, how I started the journey and how it culminated into a PhD. Now, let me just put it out there that my degree was awarded, I think, almost 8 months ago, and I've taken a break, or I took a break from academia, from work, because I run my own business, so it was easy for me to monitor remotely. But I just took a break because I needed to recover. I had been so stressed. I had high anxiety levels leading up to the graduation and all that. So I've taken a good rest, and I'm now putting myself back into the academic circle, and I have a number of things going on. I'll be sharing that maybe in the coming videos. So now in this video we're going to focus on my journey. My journey started way back in 2018. I think it was at the beginning of 2018 when I sent my application, and before sending it to Mancosa, I had been applying to other universities. I think from 2017, and you know, some universities you need to find or identify a supervisor even before you can send your application forms. So I was in that process. So coming into beginning of 2018, I just came across the advertisement from Mancosa advertising their newly launched DBA. So we were the very first people to do the doctoral program, and I was so excited because I had already studied with Mancosa before. I understood the system and all that, so automatically for me that would be a choice that I would be going for, and I went for it. I sent in the application, and then came the long wait. Finally got the call in 2018, towards the end, I think around August, and the program would be starting in September. So you must remember, back in 2018, everything was moving smoothly. I had a financial plan put in place of how I was going to fund my studies, and well, it cost the neck and the leg, if you ask me, but I had a plan, a financial plan in place between my businesses and other sources. And so I started preparing my proposal, and it was so frustrating. Yeah, because the topic that I had chosen, or the title that I had chosen initially when I was applying, had to change several times. Actually, it was changed, I think, 4 times during that 6-month period, because I came from a background of agribusiness, agriculture, and I have an interest in technology. So my topic was embracing agribusiness, and that is from my professional background, and the interest in technology. And one of the arguments was that you cannot talk about technologies when you're talking about agribusiness. Not so many of these kinds of businesses are into technology, and there was just so much. And so my topic had to change about 4 times before they approved the last topic that I did, or the last title that I did. And so I proceeded. By the time the topic was approved, I had 4 weeks to prepare my proposal, and also prepare for the defense of that proposal. which I was able to do. And I was very proud of myself because I think people were also worried that I wasn't going to manage to pull that together because the time was very short in which I needed to prepare. But yeah, who is God? I did make it and I passed with corrections. And yeah, that was, I think, going into 2019. I was so excited to finally got that to finally get that result, because now it meant I could go ahead and start collecting data. So as everything was progressing smoothly, um, we had, gone into writing and preparing our thesis proposals. They were approved and everything was moving so well. So now we were in 2019, and towards the end of 2019, no, let me say mid 2019, my proposal was approved, took away the pressure, because remember that my topic had changed almost 4 times, and I only had a 4 weeks window in which to prepare the proposal, submit everything, and defend it in the auditorium. So it was exciting to learn that I had passed, and that meant I could now start with data collection. So we were all excited, the very first cohort. I was the only woman in that cohort. So it was very encouraging. And then COVID hit. Oh my goodness. I think nobody anticipated anything like that, a calamity like that, and the impact that it had on all the industries, on everybody, on our lives. So as a self-sponsored student, you can imagine my business came to a scratching halt at the height of lockdown. Completely no business. My husband also during that time got transferred back to Mozambique. So that it had financial implications, right? It just kicked to the side our financial plan of how I was going to pay or fund my studies. And it was a very, very frustrating and trying time, I must say, because he moved back and I remained in Joburg with the kids and pursuing this study. And now we were in the thicket of COVID, and because my method of collecting data was, in-person interviews, which meant I could not collect data at the height of COVID. And even when we had, less restrictions on movement, it was such a difficult time, to get people to agree for me to interview them, because hey, that's the area I'm coming from, even though there was, sanitizers and they take your temperature before, but it was just a scary time. And I didn't, at that point, I was very, very frustrated with my process. A lot of things were not moving well in my studies. And so to think of me approaching the ethical committee to get further clearance to change my data collection method, I think I wasn't going to do it. I was just so tired at that point. I was frustrated. And I started thinking about taking a break. That was way back in 2018, 2020. And everything was slowly moving at that point. I had colleagues from my cohort at that point who were about to submit, and the pressure of everybody must, you guys study together, it would be good for you guys to graduate together. And I think this is one of the things I would say: don't compare yourself to someone else's journey. A PhD is not a competition, or at least it shouldn't be. It should be a journey. It's an individual journey that you will have to walk. And sometimes your challenges are not someone else's challenges. My case was I was limited because of my funding and because of how to collect data now. There are others who had already chosen that they would do phone interviews. It was easy to set up a phone interview and collect your data, you understand. So don't compare yourself. Instead, learn in the process. Learn what you need to learn, and then continue on that journey. So I wasn't going to put myself under that pressure. And eventually in 20, I think towards the end of 2020, I applied for leave, 6 months leave from the program, and it was granted. And during that program, or during that 6 months time frame, I just chose to just log off completely from the program. Yeah, so I logged off completely because I was so stressed. I was so worried because I didn't know how I was going to raise the money to pay, but also how I was going to collect data. And there was just so many other things that I don't want to go into details about, you know, which affected my progress actually. So anyway, in that 6 months break, the first 2 months, I did not want to think about the program. I did not want to talk about it. I just didn't want to have anything to do with it. But as time went by, I started thinking about, two things must happen. Either I'm going to go back, and when I go back, I'm going to finish the program, or this could be the end for me because it's too much. I can't handle all these pressures, and I don't even know how I'm going to proceed at this point in time. So in the last 3 months of that 6 months break, I started thinking about finishing collecting data. So I just started again contacting the people I was to interview and secure those interviews. I collected data. Yeah, I managed to get some interviews from some of them, though I had not finished. So I decided to reapply at the end of 6 months. So I was accepted into the program, but I had to give a detailed plan of how I was going to proceed. So I had already thought about that during my break, and I was able to break that down and to assure the school that I'd be going through with the program. So I managed to finish collecting data, started working on data interpretation. So to cut the story short, I finished all the chapters, and I was getting ready to submit. And then, so a reminder, kind of an email was sent to me to say, because I owed so much money, even if I submitted, they were going to receive that thesis, but they were not going to send it for examination until I paid everything that I needed to pay. In other instances, in other universities, you can negotiate with the school to say, you promise to pay within a certain period of time. In the meantime, they allow your process to move. They allow your thesis to be examined, But in my case, it was not possible. It was not an option. So I had to be content with it. There was nothing I could do. I mean, it was out of my control. You understand? So I submitted that thesis in 2023. I think 2023 January, and it remained archived for a whole year until January 2024, when I finally raised all the money that I needed to pay. I paid that, and so it was sent now to the internal examiner, who suggested some corrections, which I did. Then it went to the 3 external examiners. I think one examiner was from India, the other one from Kenya, the third one from Zimbabwe. And so the long wait came. I waited for almost 6 weeks to get feedback. And when that call came from our coordinator, and she was asking me if I was sitting down or standing, I said I was sitting down. She said, congratulations, all the 3, we've gotten your report back, and all the 3 examiners have passed you. Oh wow. I was screaming, I was shouting, my knees became numb, because there was a time I truly believed I was going to drop out of that program. I didn't see how I was supposed to raise 400,000 rands to pay my balance, because since I started the program, the fees had gone up, I think twice. Yeah, I think about twice. So it was a lot of money. And my business was not doing so well. We were just recovering from COVID. My spouse had been moved to transferred to Maputo. So that had an impact also in our finances. But he came through for me and helped me raise that money. But it took us literally 12 months. And in that 12 months, my thesis just remained archived wherever it was until I paid. Now, remember, when you do your research, you must have recent data sources, right? Mm-hmm. That now became a thorn in the flesh, I'm telling you, because after paying and it went through to the examiners, so one of the corrections that I had to make was to put in newer sources. Remember, in that 1 year that the thesis was archived somewhere, some of the sources had elapsed the 5-year period. So it meant I had to remove those and bring in new sources. Tell me about it, because that was throughout the document. So it was very, very stressful, and I had very limited time to make the corrections. By the way, I passed my thesis with minor corrections, but it was quite a lot because I needed to find newer sources to replace the sources that, some of the sources that elapsed the 5-year time frame. And they were also trying to get me to go into the approaching or the next graduation ceremony. Otherwise, I would have waited up to this year 2025 to graduate. So I did manage to do that, and I graduated last year in October. So for me, it was a learning process. First of all, do not compare yourself to anybody on your PhD journey. Learn from them, but be in your season. Learn what you need to learn. So, like I was saying, learn what you need to learn during your journey, your PhD journey. Be in your season. Do not compare yourself to other people on the journey, because you will face different challenges. You might have similar challenges, but you are in your own season. Move at your own pace. Get help when you need help, when you need support. Find an accountability partner if that is what it takes, so that you are able to go through the process. Learn what you need to learn in order to become this expert and to, finish your study. And to me, I think that is the profound thing that I learned: to be in my season, to not compare myself to anybody's journey, but most importantly of all, to learn the process and to learn during that process. Yeah. So those are the things that I can share about my doctoral journey. I'm happy that I eventually decided to come back into the program and to finish. And today I am Dr. M. Okay, so as I end this video, I'm just going to insert in some few clips that I took because I was not going to cook tonight. I feel lazy anyway. So my daughter is going back to school in 2 days. They've been on holiday, midterm holiday. They're going back to school in 2 days, not in 2 days, in 1 day actually. So tomorrow they'll be going back to school, and we just decided to go and eat something out just behind my complex, because we have an eating place just behind our complex. So it's within walking distance. We're just going to walk there, have our dinner, and I'll just insert a few clips of that. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you.